Don't have time to meditate every day, but feeling like you want to be more mindful? Worry not. You can start the new year with 3 mini mindfulness exercises that you can do in 5 minutes or even 5 seconds. Welcome back to Savvy Psychologist. I'm your host, Dr. Jade Wu, and every week I'll help you meet life's challenges with evidence-based research, a sympathetic ear, and zero judgment. Happy New Year, everyone! How was your holiday season? If it was anything like mine, you probably not only had lots of joyous moments, but also lots of hectic running around, getting things ready, hosting, traveling, ordering last-minute presents from Amazon, and getting in touch with loved ones. Times like these can sparkle with fun energy and can leave us feeling frazzled. That's because all this running around makes it hard to be mindful. By mindful, I mean being present in the here and now with a non-judgmental attitude. The opposite of mindful are things like multitasking, judging, worrying, mentally planning, and getting stuck in our minds instead of being simply and fully in the real world in the current moment. When was the last time you were fully mindful? What did it feel like? If the answer comes readily to mind, good for you. You're probably reaping the benefits of being mindful by being regularly tuned into the here and now. Those benefits include better physical health, better relationships with food and sleep, better job satisfaction, higher self-esteem, and being less prone to worry. In children, mindfulness training may improve the development of their self-regulation skills. In adults, mindfulness training can improve coping with health problems, stress, anxiety, and depression. But I hear you protest. Sure, I'd like to be more mindful, but I don't have time to sit down and meditate for 30 minutes every day. Worry not. Although meditation is an excellent practice, it's not the only way to cultivate mindfulness. The ultimate goal of practicing is to become mindful in our day-to-day lives. During our commutes, our work, our play, our diaper changing and fights with spouses, our awkward conversations, our giddy triumphs. We want to be present for all of these events, whether pleasant or unpleasant, in order to live a rich and full life. For that, there are some mini mindfulness exercises you can do during any of the scenarios I just described. No meditation required. Put these in your back pocket to use for 5 seconds, 5 minutes, anytime you could use a dose of mindfulness. So let's try some of these out. Number 1 is riding your breath. The breath is always my first go-to. It's always with me, always accessible. Breathing is also closely connected to the parasympathetic system in the body, which does the opposite job of the sympathetic system, which promotes the fight or flight response. The parasympathetic system is sometimes called the rest and digest system because it calms and slows your body into relaxation. Even without these calming perks, the breath is a beautiful thing to be mindful of. It's life-affirming, reminding you of the rhythm of your life and reminding your mind of its connection to the body. And that's the main point of a mindful breathing exercise, to be grounded in your body. Because of that, we don't necessarily have to find a quiet room and a 30-minute block to meditate on the breath. We can do it anytime, anywhere. When you're waiting in line, walking, sitting at your desk, or cooking even. Anytime you're breathing, you can be mindful of your breath. And here's how to practice. You can either sit or stand, walk, or keep doing whatever it is that you were doing, as long as it doesn't require so much of your attention that you can't fully be with your breath. Then, simply notice how your breath feels. What does the air feel like as it enters your body? Is it cool or warm? Is it slow or quick? How does your body naturally move to invite that breath? Does your chest rise? Your belly? And what does it feel like to let go of that exhale? What happens to your core, your shoulders, your chest, as that warm breath leaves your body? During this process, know that you're not trying to change or fix anything. You don't have to force the breath to be slower or deeper, to change its rhythm or shape. Your only task is to be a curious, neutral observer. You only have to ride along. As you do this, you'll also notice your mind wandering sometimes. It might slip into planning mode as you start mentally going down your to-do list, and sometimes it starts to replay conversations you had earlier or to worry about what's coming up next today. You might even think, am I doing this breathing thing right? That's okay. No need to banish or change any of these thoughts. Just notice that they happened. And then gently bring your attention back to how your breath feels. Notice how your breath changes or doesn't change throughout this exercise. Simply notice without judging the things you notice as good or bad. And when you're ready, thank your body for the breathing and go on with your day. And that is mindful breathing, one of my very favorite and also one of the most foundational mindfulness exercises. So we talked about how to focus on the breath as a way to just anchor yourself in your body, in your breath, in the present moment. Now, let's expand our attention a little bit to the rest of the body. So in addition to focusing on your breath, you can also be mindful of other parts. If you have a chance to do a dedicated meditation in a quiet environment, one of my favorites is the body scan. This is where you slowly walk your attention from head to toe, taking a moment to focus on and acknowledge each part of your body. People often find this relaxing, which is a great bonus. But the true purpose is to get in touch with your body in the here and now. If you're on the run, in public, or otherwise don't have a chance to do a full body scan meditation, you can still do a partial one. You can focus on just one small part of your body. Let's say the little toe on your left foot. The little toe is an underappreciated body part that works hard all day to keep you balanced and walk around. But I bet you weren't even noticing it until I mentioned it. Too often, we take our bodies for granted. Imagine if we treated our friends this way, counting on them to help us every day, but never saying thank you or even noticing them. So, rekindle the relationship with your little toe by having a conversation with it. And by this, I mean sincerely asking, hey, little toe, how are you feeling? And then pausing to really listen. How does your little toe feel? What's the temperature down there in the corner of your shoe? Is it roomy or cramped? Does your little toe feel relaxed or tense? Is there an itch? How does the texture of your sock feel? Wiggle your little toe around and see how that feels. In other words, give this tiny, seemingly insignificant part of your body all of your attention and see what happens to your mental experience. And lastly, let's expand the attention even further than the corner of our toe. I call this third technique the 5-4-3-2-1. So far, the mini mindfulness exercise that we've talked about so far have all focused on our own bodies, which is a really great place to start. But we can also expand out and be mindful of what our bodies are getting from the environment through our 5 senses. I think sometimes there is no better way to pull ourselves out of a mental spiral into the present moment than to make a roll call through our senses. And this roll call is what I call the 5-4-3-2-1. So here's how it goes. 5. Notice 5 things that you can see with your eyes. Look around. Is there anything in the room you hadn't noticed before? Perhaps a piece of artwork on the wall, a knickknack on the shelf, or a branch swaying outside the window? The things you notice don't have to be objects. They can be colors, patterns, the way a shadow falls across a wall, or even expressions on people's faces. There are hundreds of things to notice with your eyes. 4. Notice 4 things you can hear with your ears. Is there a fan humming somewhere? Maybe distant footsteps? Someone's music spilling out of their headphones? The sound of your own breath? Remember that there is nothing to judge as good or bad here. We're simply tuning in to notice with non-judgmental ears. 3. Notice 3 things you can feel with your body. This can be anything from the temperature of the room, to the texture of your clothing, to the pressure of the chair you're sitting on. You can even close your eyes to heighten your body's tactile senses. 2. Notice 2 things you can smell with your nose. Most of the time, we don't notice smells unless we have a yummy meal in front of us or when we're taking out the yucky garbage. But I bet you'll notice little subtle smells if you try. Maybe there's a whiff of someone's coffee from the other room, or a cozy smell from the laundry you're folding. And if you're outside, see if you can catch the changing smells as you walk down the street or through the garden. 1. Notice 1 thing that you can taste with your tongue. Savor the taste of that meal you're eating, the gum you're chewing, or even the plain water you're sipping on. And if you're not eating or drinking, you may not have anything to taste. That's okay. In this case, you can replace your 1 item with 1 more of any of the other senses you just walked through. Or sometimes I like to replace it with noticing 1 emotion I'm feeling in the moment. And there you go. In probably under 1 minute, you've walked through all 5 of your senses, you've gotten out of your mind and into your body, and into a moment of mindfulness. I'm so excited for you to try out these mindfulness techniques in the new year. Let me know how it goes. Let me know what else you'd like to learn in 2020. You can reach me on Facebook and Twitter. I'm at QDT Savvy Psych or at Jade Wu PhD. If you'd like psychology tips delivered straight to your inbox, subscribe to the Savvy Psychologist newsletter. You can also make sure you don't miss any episodes by subscribing on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Meanwhile, I wish you all a happy, healthy 2020 full of meaningful moments and personal growth. And of course, lots of mindfulness. Savvy Psychologist is audio engineered by Steve Rickeberg and edited by Karen Hertzberg. As always, Savvy Psychologist is strictly for informational purposes and does not substitute for mental health care from a licensed professional. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next week again for a happier, healthier mind.